Hey, it's Clay at claytrader.com. This is my top 10 stocks as we head into Friday, February 2nd. This will be a technical analysis breakdown. So if you are someone that uses charts within your trading, or maybe you're just interested in learning more about charts and how they can be used as a tool to help make good decisions as a trader, this will be a video for you. Real quick, a couple of clarifications. Number one, the market is still open, so that candle will be moving around quite a bit. But I like to do these videos when the market is still open for a small amount of time because sometimes we can capture some really interesting late day price movement. And then second, I'll be using the 30-minute time frame, meaning each one of these candlesticks here represents 30 minutes worth of time. So stock number one, ticker symbol NRBO. Very nice mover today. And now a very nice pattern. And when there are nice patterns out there, that means a lot of people have noticed them. And I say that because when a lot of people have noticed the same patterns, wondering the same things, call it a self-fulfilling prophecy, call it whatever you want, it can produce some very nice dynamic movement. So let's get this pattern drawn into play here. So the one part of the pattern that you got to think a lot of people have drawn is just that very basic upper part of the pattern. And then down here, you have this lower trend line. Let me change that to green to represent support, and then maybe make the pattern easier to see. Let's take it one color here. So we have our resistance, we have our support, we have the huge explosive move right there. And for you golfers out there, try to make it a little bit more visual, put the golf hole down here. This would be known as a bull pennant pattern. So while there are no guarantees, is it plausible that the price can come back up here and get a break up through the top part of the pattern, that break in of itself could create additional buying pressure? That is certainly a plausible scenario. So if you like bull pennants, you like stocks down below $10, definitely keep an eye on it. Next one here, ticker symbol MINM, and did this one yesterday. Talked about this bull flag pattern and got the nice breakout through it with the gap up in and of itself. So in some senses, almost a case of deja vu, but not quite, because we don't have another bull pennant. In this situation, we're going to have ourselves another bull. I think it'll be another bull pennant. Let's see. Yeah, maybe some would disagree with that, but whether you want to call it a bull pen or bull flag, no need to get involved or, into arguments over semantics. But once again, so we have our resistance, we have our support, have the nice upwards move right there. So again, bull pennant, bull flag, whatever you want to call it, but it's the same exact scenario as yesterday. Price made a nice move up, pulled back, consolidated, and then you can see today got the move back upwards. So once again, guarantee, of course not, but is it plausible to say that, well, it made a nice move up? It's pulling back. So will another nice move happen moving forward? That remains to be seen, but certainly a plausible thought process to have. So once again, if you like these sorts of patterns, you like this price range down below $10, keep an eye on it. Next one here, ticker symbol KPRX. And once again, same idea. Especially look at that trend line. Beautiful trend line. So you got to think a lot of people have drawn that, which again introduces a whole talking topic of those self-fulfilling prophecies. And then you have a very well-defined area of support right there. Generally speaking, you can see the price several times has been down around that area, and it's held very nicely several times. And then once again, just to keep this one color. And I know I'm going relatively quickly, but there's no point in sitting here and beating a dead horse. You've heard me talk about this. So there's support and resistance. There's the nice move up. Golf hole down here, another bull pennant. I'd say the biggest difference here is this is a penny stock. So maybe those other ones are a little too priced high for you, but if you like penny stocks, here's one for you with a bull pennant. Next one here, ticker symbol PLUG. And overall, the uptrend continues. Now, a little tricky to talk about from a presentation standpoint, because if you're some sort of day trader and you bought right there and your plan was to buy and sell within 7 minutes, well, then from that standpoint, the chart's looking pretty rough. But assuming you care about the bigger picture point of view, everything is still fine. Let me zoom out here a little bit. As you can see, they're still, very much so putting in higher lows. So that's the general context. But as I zoom back in here, the main level that stands out to me as a potential area of resistance that maybe gets this thing moving back up to the upside more is right there around the 474 mark. You can see during that last attempted curl up, that's where it got rejected back down, but now it's curling back upwards, and as I speak, is essentially knocking on the door. So right there is going to be the main question, 475, can the price break above there? If it does, especially if it's a high volume break, then I don't think it would be shocking if this thing heads back up there and retests those highs. So we'll see how that plays out moving forward, but definitely an interesting level right there from a from a resistance standpoint. And then in terms of supports, I think that trend line right there makes quite a bit of sense. So keep an eye on that moving forward. So basically you have kind of a little miniature ascending triangle pattern right there. So does it get to the break to the upside? I think that's the main question mark most people will be wondering. Next one here, AMC, and we're at a very, very important level, technically speaking. And I'll add a little bit more context here so people can see more so just how big this sideways channel is. But I've been talking about that green line down there quite a bit at 404. And today, essentially spent all day hovering right around those lows, But to give credit where credit's due as far as the bulls are concerned, they have held strong, continue to hold strong. In fact, now I'll zoom back in here because you can see during this last 30 minutes here, good solid green candle of a bounce. Nice little volume bar down here. So I don't know, is this the start of a bigger bounce to the upside? If it is, the first key level you'll want to fight through is going to be that purple line there, 50 period moving average. You can see right there has already acted as resistance. And then, of course, from a more so overarching standpoint, keep an eye on the 427 mark up there as that overall level of resistance as the top part of the channel. But like I said, has been doing battle and hovering around the bottom of that channel all day today, and so far has held strong. Real quick, want to take a break and personally invite you to get signed up for this free live online webinar that I'm offering here very soon. So if you've been enjoying what you've seen and you want to learn more about this tool, how it can and should be used to build consistency and manage risk, then definitely get signed up for the free webinar. If you're watching on YouTube, there's a link down in the description box you can use, or if you're watching right at my website, there's an area on the page there you can use to get signed up. Now, one special note, it is a live webinar. So a couple situations, maybe you already have something on your schedule this evening, or maybe you're watching this Friday morning and you've completely missed it. Go ahead, send me an email and I'd be happy to send you a link to the replay. All I ask is, because it's live, it's first got to happen first, and then I have to get it uploaded. But after that, I'd be happy to send you a link. Now, if you can make it live, then definitely get signed up. Next one, ticker symbol SOXS, and this will mean a little bit more to those of you that watched the previous top 10 I did, because I talked all about that pink line right there being the key level that you're going to want to watch. And you can see that came up here, and that is exactly where the price did struggle and ultimately found resistance. Does not mean that the price can never break above that pink line. I'm just saying it makes sense why the price did struggle up around that area, and that moving forward, that certainly remains public enemy number one in terms of areas of resistance. As far as levels of support are concerned, not a whole lot has changed since the previous video. Still have that purple line there, 50 period moving average, and then you have this level down here at the 509, which is not really close to. But in my opinion, I think by far the most interesting dynamic about this one is, can it consolidate out and then make another run up towards that 200 period moving average and breakthrough? We'll see what happens with it, but this one can definitely move pretty quick. Next one here, ticker symbol PTON. Very popular, not a very popular one. It used to be a lot more popular, but it's still a relatively well-known stock that got absolutely destroyed today with earnings, gap down, and then just completely bled. And really what's interesting about this is it's a relatively popular stock. A lot of people have heard of it. Now it's really cheap, down below $5. And I don't want to say it's a cult stock, but you have a lot of people that would like to watch these very well-known stocks. And when you have these situations, you can get some of those self-fulfilling prophecies. And in this situation, my big question is there going to be some sort of double bottom? Last time the price was down here at 417, got a little bounce. Not a huge bounce, but I don't know, is this the time where it rolls back over and then heads back up? Maybe not. Maybe this thing is getting ready to crash down even further, and that's why risk management matters. But it's also not unreasonable to think that, okay, it's already bounced from that area once. This thing is severely beaten down. It is a relatively popular stock, so are there going to be enough eyeballs watching this one to buy once again, and then there's a bigger bounce that happens? If you find these sorts of situations interesting, then I definitely keep an eye on it. Next one here, ticker symbol TSLA, Tesla. And overall, very, very nice recovery from this morning as the price came down there, broke down through a pretty important level of support. Things are looking nasty, but you got to give Tesla credit. Recovered not only back up to that area of support, and got above it, but has just continued to grind and grind. And now the big wonder going into tomorrow, can the price break above that 50 period moving average right there? You can see earlier on, fake break of it before the flush downwards, but it is once again approaching it, so I'd keep an eye on that. Then the other area that I want to get into play here, just out of curiosity second, I think it'll play a role, is going to be that trend line right there. Let me just kind of distinguish it a little bit. So make it, a dash line there. So those will be the next two near-term levels of resistance, 50 period moving average, and then that downwards, trend line there. Then, of course, you have the overall level up there, but that's kind of getting a little too far ahead of ourselves. As far as areas of support, I'm going to go ahead and adjust this area down now that we have more data, since we now know where the buyers appeared today, and that was right around 184.25. So if there is some sort of rollover, then I don't know, do you get some sort of double bottom off that? Potentially. But as of now, it's strong, and can it get enough strength to push through these areas of resistance? We'll see what happens on Friday. Next one here, ticker symbol MARA, and let me squeeze this down here a little bit so you can get a little bit better context. And the level here that I'm very curious about is that trend line right there. Again, one of those levels where, I'm not trying to impress you. That's not a secret discovery. That's not what I'm trying to imply. I think a lot of people have drawn that trend line. Therefore, you have that much more potential of a self-fulfilling prophecy where if the price can come up to that area and get the break up through it, that break in of itself could create additional buying pressure. And then the kind of the near term, you have basically a little bull pennant pattern. So you can keep an eye on that. But yeah, bull pennant slightly below this much, larger overall trend line. If the price can get a breakup through there, as I've said a million times, and we'll say a million more times, there are no guarantees, but is it plausible that a breakout of that bull pennant could create that much more upside momentum? That's certainly a plausible outcome. Next one here, ticker symbol TQQQ, which is an ETF that measures the NASDAQ market. So if you believe the NASDAQ market as a whole is going to rise, this one will also go up. And that's why this one had a good solid day. I'm going to go ahead and get rid of that. Started off rough, but then has, turned itself around very, very nicely. Still a lot of work that needs to be done, but really moving into Friday, very straightforward from a technical standpoint because it's sandwiched right between two very, very well-known, I would call them the granddaddies of them all in terms of technical analysis, that being the purple line there, 50 period, and then the pink line there, the 200 period. Because the 50 period is up above it, this would be the main area of resistance moving into tomorrow, and then down here, because it's below it, this would be the main area of support moving forward. And I mean, not to overcomplicate it, or oversimplify it, but sometimes it's really that straightforward. It's, okay, who's going to win out of this battle? Because right now you have basically a wedge pattern that's formed. If I extend these out, and this space here is getting smaller and smaller. So who is going to win this battle? Grab your popcorn, grab your Sour Patch Kids. Let's see what happens on Friday. So that wraps up the top 10 lists. Again, if you like what you saw here and want to learn more, then definitely get signed up for that free webinar. It'll be this evening, Thursday, February 1st at 7 p.m. Eastern time. But like I said, if you can't make it live for whatever reason, go ahead and send me an email, clay@claytrader.com, and I'd be happy to send you a link to the replay. So as far as these top 10 videos are concerned, if you enjoy these, do a couple things for me, please. Hit that like button, leave a comment down below. Thanks for watching, take care, and go get signed up for that free live webinar, and hopefully I'll see you here in just a couple of hours.